Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the Spirit. This is from End Time Headlines. It was actually a couple of videos, a couple of articles I wanted to read, but I lost track of it doing the timeline or the feed in YouTube because brothers upload so much to the point sometimes things get lost within the timeline or within the feed. You know, like you be looking at one post and then all of a sudden it's gone within seconds later, depending if you don't save it or not. So they kind of threw me for a loop. So you got to strike when the spirit is hot. But it says developing, the Pentagon has activated the deployment of defense systems throughout the Middle East. Okay, it's this ongoing conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis have been going on the second week now, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty much going on the second week. It's a lot. I was looking at something, but no, going on the second or third week that this conflict has totally took a turn for the left. All right, which shows you that we're clearly at the end of all hell breaking. We're at the end of America, and we're at the end of Esau's power structure or his rulership. You know, as you have a lot of Amalekites coming up to camps and basically trying to contend with the Israelites, and they have not a leg to stand on because the Most High has given us this gospel. Like you had some Edomite guy, and I think I've seen this guy before. He came up to the camp and got to specify, oh, well, you know, the actual Jews were from Ethiopia. That's not true, okay? That's not our land, all right? And they did not derive from no damn Ethiopia, okay? That's the land of Cush or Kawash, okay, which is of the Hamitic origin, okay? You had Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and Cush is one of the sons of Ham, followed by Mizraim, Put, okay? Mizraim, which is you Egyptians. You got Put, you got Canaan, okay? You got Cush or Kawash, which is known as the Ethiopians or Ethiopians, which are African and Hamitic nations. They're not Israelites, okay? Even the people of the descent of Eritrean, which some of them are Jakes, but that was not where the Israelites or where our people derived from. See, you're going to have people coming up trying to throw that confusion in the midst of that to debunk the fact that Israelites are definitely Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the fact that not all black people are the same, okay? So with that being said, you're going to have a lot of bug outs and agents coming up to camps trying to stir up confusion, but we're not going to fall for that. We're not going to fall in that trap, okay? So it says the defense will send a terminal high altitude area defense, which is known as the THAAD system, in addition to Patriot air defense missile systems, battalons, to the Middle East, the Pentagon said on Saturday in response to recent attacks on U.S. troops in the region. It says, according to the Yahoo News, the United States have sent a significant amount of naval power to the Middle East in recent weeks, including 2 aircraft carriers, their support ships, and about 2,000 Marines. It says Washington is on heightened alert for activity by Iran-backed groups as regional tensions soar during the Israel-Hamas war. It says following discussions or detailed discussions with President Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, on the recent escalations by Iran and its proxy forces across the Middle East region, today I directed a series of additional steps to further strengthen the Department of Defense posture in the region, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement. It says Austin said he was placing additional troops on prepared to deploy orders, but did not say how many. But the Pentagon has already placed some 2,000 troops on a heightened state of readiness in case they need to deploy to the region. And guess what? They're going to have to bring back a draft because no way in hell they have enough people to fight this war on this front as the United States military has spread it too thin. You know, so I saw a couple of videos. One, I believe it was the Southern Prepper. Basically, he was stating that, I believe he was looking at a video of the Gen Z about how they're not bred for war and they're not ready for war because they say hard times make strong men, but good times make weak men. And the fact that you Americans, you Babylonians, you've been in a state of mirth, okay, a state of docility for the last 60, 70 years without any major wars to really confront outside of the Iraq war, the Afghan war, the Gulf of the Desert Storm, those little smaller proxy wars, whatever. But overall, these people over here have been totally bamboozled and put to sleep. So now he's going to have a bunch of soy boys, a bunch of transmissions, a bunch of women, and a bunch of simps in the military for some form of defense, which is not going to end well. So this is why they got to grab up patriots. They got to grab up people that's retired from the military. Basically, Esau, Edom, he's going to go way out in order to have some type of fighting chance in this war. But we understand, according to the scriptures, the Third World War, they're going to lose miserably, because this is when our Lord, who you ignorantly call Christ, which his name is Yahweh Shai, is going to come back and defend the elect of his people, which are the Negro, Latino, and Native American, the Israelites. Okay, so brothers, we're getting ready to see a change of events in a very short while, because allegedly November 1st, I believe they're like the banks or something like that is collapsing. So November 1st basically is basically they're going into a full-fledged collapse starting then. Hopefully by next year we see some type of what they call economic turmoil, meaning that they're going to pretty much do a recall on a dollar, meaning they have to switch over to the CBDC currencies. Because remember, July 1st, basically the pilot program was launched at the beginning of the year. Last year, I believe like in November or October, it was like a 12-week pilot program with these systems going online January 1st. So now I believe November 1st, they're going to do recall trials. And eventually the dollar just going to collapse, and they're going to replace it with this digital currency, which is going to be a step in the MOT, in the direction of the MOTB. All right. So we're there. But it says these steps will bolster regional deterrence efforts, increase force protection for U.S. forces in the region, and assist in the defense of Israel, Austin added. But the deployments came 2 years after Biden's administration withdrew air defense systems from the Middle East, citing a reduction in tensions with Iran. But the Patriot, considered one of the most advanced U.S. air systems, is usually in short supply, with allies around the world vying for it. It says the THAAD system has a powerful radar, and a U.S. deployment system to South Korea in 2016 angered China, which believed it could peer into its airspace. But there has been a spike in attack against U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria since the conflict began between Israel and Hamas militants in Gaza broke out. But last week, a U.S. warship shot down more than a dozen drones and 4 cruise missiles fired by the Iranian Black Houthis from Yemen. Okay, and basically going into a lot of other stuff. But this is an escalation of war. I don't believe this thing is going to kick up. I don't believe it's going to die down. I believe through the spirit, these things are getting ready to intensify, and we're getting ready to see some shit, man. And we're at the time now that the prophets have foretold about, and the men of the Lord have waited patiently to see. Now is the time to really lock in and get focused, because from now up until from now this far, a lot of shit can happen. I think 2024 is going to be a year of unpredictability, man. I could see a lot of things going down next year as far as political moves, financial moves, man, even strategic war, what they call geopolitics. I can see a lot of things being planned. Okay, so prepare for World War III, or first the MOTB, which they will make mandatory prior to the destruction. That has to come to pass first. But nonetheless, all these things are going to happen simultaneously. Okay, because while the MOTB is pretty much ready to go, it's just the perfect crisis in this war to deter everybody from paying attention to what's happening here. These people are going to take it, man. Okay, so, we getting ready to go. It's getting ready to go down. But this is the book of Joel 2. And I'm going to start at verses... man. Let's start at verses 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, and let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand, and thus the day of the Lord. Okay, the war of Armageddon, the day that Yahweh Shai comes back and bring deliverance to the elect and destruction to the west and the heathen. Okay, that's why the scripture said the day of the Lord is a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, Contrary to what you Christians teach, the day of the Lord is going to be a pleasant day. The day of the Lord is going to be a very terrifying day. All right, it's not going to be a day when Yahweh comes in on a horse with cotton candy and colorful flowers and they're throwing glitter at him. No, he's coming back to put this place in order, man. There's going to be a lot of bloodshed in the midst. And we got to hope like hell that we're exempt from the Lord's wrath, man. Because he's not playing anymore. He never was playing, but now he's getting ready to say, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm getting ready to set up the kingdom. And my people, we getting ready to rule righteously. So, hey, brothers, we getting ready to rule, man. But it says a cloud and thick darkness as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and strong. There have not been ever alike, neither shall there be more accurate, even to the years of many generations. Meaning there's not going to be any more wars. All right, once we're in power, we're not going to have world wars because the weapons are going to be destroyed and the nations are going to be subjugated to the Israelites. Okay, so we're not going to have any wars or anything remotely on the scale of what we're going through, because now you're under chemical warfare, you're under germ warfare, you under the basically the foods are weaponized against you, the women are weaponized, man, the water is weaponized. Okay, the weapons are weaponized. Esau is weaponized. Jake is weaponized. This is just a kingdom of death and darkness, man. Okay, and we're not going to have a kingdom like this. It's going to be polar opposite to this madhouse that we're living in. It says, a fire devoured before them, and behind them the flame burneth. And the land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, nothing should escape them, right? Because when the destruction come, when those missiles come over the horizon, hey, one side of the place is going to look like, oh, shit, it's pretty good. But when the missiles hit, it's going to sweep all that, man. You know, like just a minute ago, we were living prosperous. We had the things we wanted. We was in peace and harmony with our new world order. And before you know it, the horizon goes dark. And before you know it, you got nuclear missiles raining down in your atmosphere. And it says, and nothing should escape. It says, and the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so they shall run. Like the noise of chariots on the top of the mountain shall they leap, and like the noise of a flame of fire that devoured the stubble, as a strong people set in battle away, which is going into the missiles. It says, before their face, the people should be much pain, and all their face should gather blackness, right? Because once the missiles hit, it's lights out. But even just the countenance of the people, when they're seeing this, when they're seeing those missiles being launched over here to America, their spirits and their countenance are literally going to freeze, because it's like, oh, shit, we're really getting ready to get hit. And the thing of it is, they're not going to escape. And while that's happening simultaneously, you're going to have the deliverance from Yahweh Shai to the elect, man. So while those missiles are being fired upon here, you're going to have the chariots getting us up out of here. And that's going to cause a lot of people to bug out, because they're going to have that spirit like, wait a minute. Well, why are they getting beamed up but we not? Well, because you didn't take heed to the warning, and you were not of the elect. And that's going to be a sight to behold when we getting beamed up in those ships. And these people, they're getting fucked up. Bro, this shit is really finna turn up, bro. We getting ready to really see some things that's literally out of a fucking nightmare, man. You know, excuse my French, but think about chariots coming into our atmosphere and really getting us up out of here. Nobody's never seen nothing like that. You know, so Yahweh Shai is getting ready to really show himself. And it says here, and they should run like mighty men, and they should climb on the wall like men of war. And they should march everyone in his way, and they should not break their ranks. Neither should one thrust another, and they should walk everyone in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they should not be wounded, right? Because those missiles, when they fall upon Babylon the Great, hey, they're going to do their job. They're not going to bump into one another. They're not going to sidestep each other. A missile ain't going to bump him, so, oh, my bad. I meant to go to Chicago, but instead I'm going to Kansas City. No. When those missiles hit, they're going to come in perfect array. All right, and it says, and they should run to and fro through the city, and they should run upon the wall, and they should climb up upon the houses, and they should enter in at the windows like a thief. Because 1 minute you're going to look up, it's going to be a clear sky, and then you're going to turn around, you're going to see these particular projectiles that look like stars being shot on your society. And it's going to be swift, man. Okay, and it says here they should walk upon, it says they should come and run upon the wall and climb up into the houses, and they should enter in like windows like a thief. Because they're going to bypass the defense systems. Like when you think of walls are put up in a house for what reason? To protect you from the outside elements. to keep you in a fortified zone of safety. So America has defense systems that's set up around it to fend off an alleged attack from the enemy. But in this case, it's not going to fend off these missiles for the most part because so many is going to be shot. And they've already admitted that they put way more money into their offensive strategy than their defensive strategy. So it's a done deal. And it says, and the earth should quake before them, and the heaven should tremble, and the sun and the moon should be dark, and the stars should withdraw their shining, right? Because for the simple fact, when it touched down, the smoke, those mushroom clouds, totally block out the atmosphere. And it says, and Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, and his camp is very great. For he is strong that executed his words. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide in it, man? Okay? Therefore also now it says, Yahweh turn ye even to me with all your heart, with fasting and with weeping and mourning. So this is what we got to do. Okay? We got to fast. We got to pray. We got to ask the Lord for mercy. You know what I'm saying? That should be daily anyway. You ask the Lord for mercy throughout your day. Because every times we're in now is very uncertain. Okay? But it says, arrange your hearts and not your garments, and turn you to the Lord Yahweh. It says, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repented him of the evil. But who knoweth if he will return and repent and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering to the Lord your power. Okay, and that's the point, getting us ready to meet the Lord, man. Okay, but I want to jump down a little bit, going down to verses 20. It says, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, which is the United States military, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, okay, with his face towards the east sea, and his hinder parts towards the utmost sea. And his stink should come up, and his ill savor should come up, because he have done great things. This war in the Middle East now, it says the land barren and desolate, okay? When you look at this map, okay, this is the Middle East. This is a map of the Middle East. Okay, which you have Jordan, you have Israel, which all this technically is our land here. Like, you see where Israel is? It's not just the strip, bro. That's not even half of it. That's just a small aspect. And technically, they don't even have the land for real. You know what I'm saying? This is the West Bank, Tel Aviv, which is Ashdod. You got the Gaza Strip, which they're fighting over this region here. But technically, all this is our land. And then we're going to get the whole earth, man. But Saudi Arabia is that the land of desert and barren, okay, because it's like a desert wilderness. Okay, then it says here, it says drive him to a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the east sea, and his hinder parts towards the utmost sea. Now, when you look at the east sea here, what's east of Saudi Arabia? You have what here they call the Persian Gulf, okay? Then the utmost, you have the Red Sea. You have the Mediterranean Sea here, but you got the Red Sea, and then you got the Persian Gulf, which is actually east, because when you look at a map, this is how I'm able to tell direction. And like when you think of a map, like if you always going north, if you're going north, then you already know the east will always be on your right side. West would always be on your left side. Okay, and then south side is always backwards, so to speak. So when you remember certain landmarks, then you're able to tell your sense of direction. So Saudi Arabia, right, which is east of Israel, right? Now you go over land barren and desolate to the East Sea here. You have the Persian Gulf here, but then also you have the Red Sea here. Then when you go north, of course, north of Saudi Arabia is Iraq, Kuwait, Syria, Lebanon, and Lebanon, which is northwest. Okay, and then you go straight up to Azerbaijan, which is totally north. Then south of Saudi Arabia is Yemen. Then you got the Gulf of Aden, then so forth. You see, so that's how I'm able to tell a sense of direction. But like they said here, Pentagon has activated the deployment of defense throughout the Middle East, but it's not going to be enough because, like we said, they're spread too thin. And it says, for fear not, O land, and be glad and rejoice, for the Lord would do great things. And one great thing is putting an end to this damn devil, man. Finally. Okay, because when you read Ezekiel 38, it says prophecy about Gog and future invasion of Israel. See, and we at this time now. Okay, because when you go down to verse 2, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, which we know is the land of Russia today, which these are Japhetic peoples, but Russian or the Edomites have assumed the lands and the identities today. It says the chief priest of Salak, it says the chief priest of Meshach and Tubal and prophecy against him. Now, the average scholar can agree that this is talking about World War III in Russia and these allies joining together to choose their sides to fight this war before the day of the Lord. But it says here, and thus says the Lord Yahweh, I will am against thee, O Gog, the chief priest of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Okay, so this is clearly talking about a war. Persia, which is the Iranians, Ethiopia, and Libya, which all these nations are being mentioned in the news. With them, all sorts of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands in the house of Togomar in the north quarters, which you got France, you got Turkey, and it says, and all his bands and many people with thee. China, North Korea, okay. Because that Taiwan, which is a province of China, technically they're the same people, but they have interests in America, man. Okay, so therefore the Chinese and Taiwan is pretty much at odds because of the ill dealings of Babylon the Great, which is going to which all these nations are going to go against Babylon, But it says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou the guard unto them. So look, like America said, if Hezbollah enters into the war, and then they're going to enter into the war, and if America enters into the war to try to deter Iran, then hey, Russia's going to enter in and they're going to defend their interests. Okay, they have financial interests, and they have interests also in what you call resources as well. So in order to block the West out of getting access to those resources, they're going to defend their cause. And that's how the game works. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to end it here, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom and a bubble ball. Shalom.